Welcome to our edition of squatting. Yeah, it's our corrective exercise today, and we're going to go through points why we do the exercise, good ways to do it, bad ways to do it. But firstly, we want to speak about why we're doing squats. So squat, the bodyweight squat is a precursor to weighted squats, so front squats and back squats, and it's really good for developing proper mechanics, joint structure, so joint strength and stability, and mobility of the hips. Okay, so we're going to go through the movement now, guys. Caitlin's going to show us some good air squats, so she'll just show us 3 and she'll pause on the 3rd one. Nice, Caitlin. And I'll just get you to stop on that 3rd one. Okay, guys, notice that in this position here, her spine is neutral, okay, and that her knee is tracking in line with her toe, and that the weight is in the heel. So when she goes to stand, she moves up and the weight stays in the heel, guys. So that's super important that we keep the weight through the heel so that we use the hip to stand and we take a load out of the knee. Okay, so when she goes to initiate the squat, guys, we want to look for movement at the hip first. So the hip moves first before the knee, okay? So she goes down, good, and she'll try and get as deep as she can without sacrificing too much in the back. She'll come back up and standing, so that's good. So guys, what we don't want to see in the squat, which is a bad thing, okay, is initiating with the knees. So knees coming really far forward at the start, and then trying to descend down from there, and having your valgus knee. So we don't want the knee, guys, to come in. We want the knee to track with the toe. Thanks, Caitlin. Stand. Okay, so guys, things we're looking for is that we want the knee to track in line with the toe the whole time. So if we go valgus or varus in too many extremes, we can see damage and poor tracking of the patella, which leads to chronic injuries, and poor recruitment of the posterior chain. So it is generally a posterior chain dominant exercise, which is important for corrective exercise and development in the future of the squat. And squat. If we go down and we notice that the person loses lumbar position, so Caitlin hunches and rounds forward and we flex in the spine and they can't keep their chest upright, then we'll do some things to diagnose that. Okay, it can mean a couple of things, that we just have poor motor control or that we have a weak core strength. So what I'd get someone to do, get them to stand up. So as long as our knees are tracking correctly and the weight's distributed properly through the foot, guys, then what I do, I get Caitlin, if you come over here, to squat to a table, okay? So if she has mobility issues or motor control issues, ways that she can help that and make it safer for her is that we'll get her to squat down nice and slow, initiating with the hips to a box, just there, guys, and to come back up. So here it's a much more controlled point, and so we can build from here, guys. We can take it down slower or we can put it up higher until she progresses to the full movement, until she feels ready. Alright, thank you.
Exercise that we're going to take you through today is pushing a heavy object such as a couch or a car. So when pushing a heavy object, we want to use the posterior muscle groups on our legs mainly, just because this is the most efficient way to push something heavy. So as you can see, Victor's got his arms forward and his legs towards the back. Another way that we can push a heavy object is using the anterior parts of our legs. So sitting like this, leaning against and then pushing with our legs. This is not as efficient as these muscles do fatigue faster, but it can be used in conjunction with the posterior leg muscles. Okay, so there's 2 main things that you want to make sure you're not doing whilst pushing a heavy object. This is pushing it with loading one leg instead of both legs. So all the pressure that Victor's putting on, you can see, is at this knee. So that could be causing a risk of injury. Okay, another thing that you need to make sure is when you are pushing, that your arms are either locked out, full extension, or they're in full flexion. So this is just so that you're not fatiguing the arm muscles and you're only using the leg muscles. Okay, and the last thing about pushing a heavy object is when you are pushing, keep that neutral spine. So engage your core and do not flex the back or extend the back at any time. So Victor will just show us 2 ways of how not to not do it. Yeah, so we don't want to see any of that. We just want to see a neutral spine. And that's how you push a heavy object.
Guys, today we're going to learn how to pick up shopping the proper way to prevent risk of injury. You might injure yourself in your lower back, such as a slip disc, or straining of muscles such as erector spinae. So what we're going to do is we want our stance to be perfect. So we don't want to be over, we don't want it to be over wide. So that might make it awkward. We don't want the bags to be in different positions, or your center of gravity might be off and might risk injury. What we want to do is have your feet shoulder width apart, just like that, and be comfortable. Yeah. And to initiate the movement, you want to flex at the hip and have a neutral spine. You don't want to overextend the spine at all, or you don't want to overflex the spine. This might cause injury when you're picking up the bags. Yep. So when you're coming down, you want to grab the bags at equal lengths. Yep. Make sure you're driving the force through the heel, so to avoid driving it through the front, which causes a really awkward shift in position and gravity. What you want to do is drive the force through the heel, and when you're lifting up, make sure you lock the knee and the hip at the same time. You don't want to lock the knee first before the hip, or all the pressure will be in the back. So what you want to do is come back up and lock both at the same time. Have your shoulders back, have all the bones locked into place, chest out, and when you start walking, just make sure it's at equal pressure on both sides. Hey guys, today we're gonna
what time is it where you are? I miss you more than anything. I'm back at home, you feel so far.